Hello, you're listening to Metal Verbalizers, and I am Johan. And today I will verbalize the band Red Racer. Red Racer is a 4-piece thrash metal band from Florianópolis in Brazil, and was founded in 2011. The city that Red Racer was founded in is mainly known internationally and so for its beaches and surfing and for like rich tourists and tourism and stuff like that. And the music there is allegedly mainly consists of stuff like reggae and a very soft kind of rock music. So that kind of brings us to Red Racer, who kind of was founded there, and they wanted to take, well, a very, very different approach to music from what most bands from the city has previously done, and they would rather want to go for a very fast and very aggressive path, which I mean became a kind of thrash metal sound. Red Racer released an EP in 2013 titled Shark Attack, and something that really caught my interest immediately regarding this EP, I think, was definitely the album cover, or well, EP cover, with a picture of a shark biting into a guitar, which I thought looked really cool. I'm not sure exactly what type of guitar it is, but it kind of looks a little bit like some kind of a dime bag style guitar, if you know what I mean. The band's full length, however, titled Beer Revolution, which is a hilarious name by the way, was released in 2015. And once again, I think it's a really, really great album cover with a group of people looking like, zombies or some kind of ghouls or something like that, with holding beer bottles and with signs who says in all caps beer and we want beer and stuff like that, which I think is great. The other full length, however, titled The Revolution Continues, was released in 2019. And this album cover kind of follows a similar idea with a group of people, but this time it wasn't kind of ghoul-like, zombie-like people, but a group of men with hoods, screaming and holding bats and molotovs and stuff like that. And also in the background is a big building that it looks like they are running from. I'm not sure exactly. I suppose my geographical knowledge is kind of being put to the test here, but I'm not sure if that building is just a random building, or if that's actually a reference to a building, because it kind of looks like it could be a kind of a city hall somewhere. For example, I'm not entirely sure, but if my memory is with me here, it kind of looks like it could be loosely based on the city hall in Rio de Janeiro. It kind of looks like it could be loosely based on that, but don't quote me on that, because I'm not sure if this is an intentional reference from Red Racer, but it definitely made me kind of think that it could be a reference to that. And something that caught my interest here and my attention when I looked on the band's discography and these two albums by Red Racer was the names of the albums. Like the first one from 2015 was titled Beer Revolution, and then the next album in 2019 was called The Revolution Continues. And kind of what I want to say here with this is that I think it's really cool when an album cover, album name, and even a band name kind of ties together, and that you like see a clear connection between them. But something here, when it comes to Red Racer's albums, is that the albums kind of ties together into a theme, like the Beer Revolution and then The Revolution Continues, which I'm a big fan. I think I've talked about this a little bit before, but I'm a big fan of the kind of thing that when there's a connection between things, that it's not just a random album cover, it's not just a random band name or random album name, or just like, that they stand by themselves, but I'm a big fan when you really like spend time on that and really like find connections between them. I think I mentioned that earlier, once again, that I think that's what makes a really, really great album cover and album title, when they really like tie together into like one thing, which I mean Red Racer has done here, even between albums, which I think is absolutely brilliant. I don't think this is very common, that bands do this kind of thing between albums. There are some connections, of course, like old school thrash metal bands have kind of mascots and stuff like that, of course. Megadeth has Vic, and Sodom has Knarrenheinz, with like some kind of style, with a kind of like gas mask and stuff like that. So there's connections like that, but I think that is still in another way than, for example, in this case with Red Racer. So I kind of wanted to talk about that and really say that that's something that I really appreciate. When I listen to Red Racer, I can hear a lot of old school influences here. I think I could hear a lot of Anthrax and also a lot of Testament and bands like that. There was especially certain parts sounded a lot Anthrax to me. But something that Red Racer is doing here is that they managed to kind of like take those influences and then made something else with that. Kind of like putting a little bit more modern touch on it. You can hear the influences pretty clearly in their music, I think. But it's still kind of wrapped in a modern package, so to speak. So I think also, I mean, all of those bands, for example, the ones I mentioned, like Anthrax and Testaments, are great. And that is like a style that I really really exists still today. And I believe that it should continue to exist in the future, which makes bands like Red Racer, for example, kind of like bringing that back and then kind of putting a little bit of modern stuff in there as well, really cool. Something else that I really, really like about Red Racer is that the band has a little humor involved in not their sound, but like their album covers and stuff like that, and song names. And I mean, examples of this is, for example, their first album title, Beer Revolution. or like song names such as Wish You Were Beer, which is an obvious reference to Pink Floyd, of course. Or song names like Napalm Pizza, which is hilarious to me. They also have a song called For Those About to Thrash, which once again is an obvious reference to AC/DC. But I think that's really funny, and I think that is a thing that is fairly common in like new wave thrash. You know, that you're like 100% serious about the music, and you know, when it's like when it comes to the music, it's 100% serious, and so on and so forth. But you know, when it comes to like lyrics or like song names or even image to a certain extent, I would say there are sometimes like a kind of humor edge to it, which I really like. You know, it's kind of like in the same way that Abbath is to black metal. You know, it's like it's serious, but you don't have to always take everything so seriously. So I think that the kind of like humor in metal, I think, fits really well. And you know, basically everything doesn't have to be like super serious all the time, even though there are bands like that are brilliant as well, of course. But I believe that with that being said, I think it's time to wrap this up. I appreciate you listening, and if you like this episode, make sure to follow Metal Verbalizers, and we will give you more tips like this. If this episode results in you checking this band out, then please tag us and let them know that we send you to them. We would appreciate it a lot, and we will be back to you soon with another verbalization.